How's it going, guys? We're back, and it's the Mighty Zagroom.
Wow, perfect timing, Gil.
Perfect timing. What up, Gil?
Hey.
Oh, he's changing. Cover your eyes. He's changing. Anyways, we're back on Caps Off the Chain podcast. We took a couple weeks off live streaming. We're going to be live streaming again in a couple weeks. Today, we're going to be recording 2 episodes. I think next week we're going down to 1, and the week after that we're doing 2 because we're live streaming the following week. We've made an executive decision. Gil will no longer, you don't have to live stream with us anymore. I don't want to force you to live stream. But let's get into it.
You're welcome to join us, but you don't have to.
You don't have to.
You can't.
All
right. We also now have our special guest, Sebastian, who's joining us.
And as you can see, I wasn't being serious with the cigar thing, but she brought a cigar.
Ow.
Let's get into it. We got
my headphone wire.
Here's what we're going to do. For this episode, we're going to recap the games. Next episode, we're going to talk about, preview the Nashville game, and then we're going to recap the entire month of October. Let's get into it. Let's start off with the New Jersey-Washington game, and that is really bothering me, Cheryl.
What?
I can hear myself. I think you should go upstairs.
I'd say, yeah, you are echoing a little.
Right.
She's not going to be here long anyway. She's got to leave in a little bit.
I mean, it's not
Actually, I can't go too far because I got a dinner in the oven. But I can go upstairs. It's still going to be at least a half an hour till it's done. So.
How you doing, Gil?
Fortunately, my setup is portable.
Anyways, before we start it, let's introduce everyone. As you know, Jared, say hi.
Hola.
Cheryl, C4.
Hello.
Gil.
Yes.
All right. Let's get into it. We got a game to recap. New Jersey. What a game. What a game that was. Let's kick it off. Caps give up the first goal. This is the first game, I think, all season to start. The Caps did not score first, if I'm correct. This game, Eric Holla would score, I think, 4 minutes and 45 seconds into the game. Capitals would respond with the bigger goal scorer, Tom Wilson, to make it 1-1. Then McMichael would have a nice goal 4 minutes later. Then 4 minutes later again, Ovechkin made it 3-1. And then we came into some problems in the second period. Gil, you want to talk about those problems?
Yeah, that problem was named Nico Hischier, who laid a 2-spot on us in 44 seconds. I've had sessions with prostitutes that have lasted longer than that.
All right, yeah, Nico Hischier would score 34 seconds in, and then 44 seconds later, he would score to make it 3-3. But then the Caps would respond by Andrew Mangiapane making it 4-3. Dylan Strome would score to make it 5-3. At the end of the second period, it was 5-3 Caps. But then they go into another problem. The third period, which I'm going to say right now, out of all these recaps, this and maybe the Philadelphia game are the only games that I've noticed that we had real problems with the lead and playing a little bit of too carefree and a little laid back. But anyways, Dawson Mercer would make it 5-4, 3 minutes into the third period. 12 minutes into the third period, Dougie Hamilton would make it 5-5 on the power play. But then, our Lord and Savior, the best goal scorer alive, pure goal scorer, Tom Wilson, wins it 6-5. He is the thumbnail of this episode. He will be. That is the game. The Caps go 6-5. They win 6-5 in this game. Now let's go to the next game, which would be the Phil. All right, to the back-to-back. This is the game these are the back-to-back games we live streamed, so we can go a brief over it because we kind of talked about this during the game. I know what Gil's gonna say. It sucked because that live stream was long. Yeah, these two games were honestly 3 games. The 3 live stream games. We'll go into it real quick. They were awesome. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you, Jared, Gil. Thank you for the 2 Philadelphia games. It was a blast. Thank you, JJ. He's not here right now because he's not a part of this podcast, but he will be with us live streaming if he can. I'm going to try to get a couple more non-Capitals fans to make it a little less biased.
Kyle?
Fuck no.
Yeah, no, absolutely
He's
not.
a Penguins fan! Why would we do that?
Sure.
Absolutely not.
But anyways, this game was amazing. The Capitals scored 2 shorthanded goals in this game. This game a lot better than the game that we're going to talk about next with the 2 live streams. The Capitals look like the better team in both games, but we're gonna have to complain. But like I said, we already went over it. Nick Dowd, Ajapani scored the shorthanded goals. Carlson and Chikrin got goals for this game, and then the next game 6-3. Caps win 6-3 against Philadelphia. I'm trying to go really fast on this because we got to record another episode. Taylor Radish, Nick Dowd, McMichael. But then the Caps started to play sloppy. And this is the other game we talked about. The 2 games this far this season that the Caps have looked sloppy in the third period. The game against New Jersey and this game. They sat back. Yes, they're up 4-0 in the game. And the game's pretty much over because the Flyers are trash. But they made it close. But the Capitals are able to get the empty net goals from Dubois and Ovechkin. And I'm going to say it. He's beating the fucking record this year. He's beating the record this year.
Think he's passing Gretzky?
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It took him 30 games last year to get 6 goals, and now he has, 7 goals within, the first 11 games?
What is he on, like a 4-game goal streak now or something?
5, I think 5 game.
Wow.
I think he scored, he scored since the Rangers game, so 3. Yeah, Gil, we already know. During the live stream, you were getting a little frustrated how they were sitting back. In your podcast, I'm pretty sure you talked about it. You talked about it in your group chat as well. I could see how frustrated you were getting. This game just once it went 4-0, they felt like they could do no wrong, and it almost came back to bite them in the ass, which I'm kind of glad it didn't. But like I said, if they only do this twice within the whole season, I'm fine with that. Let's get into the next game, obviously, we weren't going to go undefeated. We got our asses handed to us by the Tampa Bay Lightning. And we just ran into a really, really hot goalie. Vasilevsky, still, in my opinion, the best goalie in the world. Igor is up there as well. But we made Igor our bitch on Tuesday. So, do you want to recap this, Gil? You want to talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning game?
Not really, but I will anyway. We got halaked. That was part of it, but they weren't making the most of their offensive chances. That was the other half. Tampa got a fluky goal in the second after sleepwalking through the first. Braden Point does what he always does in the third, and then
Connor Geeky.
Hendrix Lapierre made a really bad turnover, and what was it? 40 seconds. 40 seconds after that Braden Point goal, they scored again.
44 seconds.
Yeah. So what is it with 44 seconds and goals? I don't get it. What are they trying to do?
Yeah, this really sucked, and I kind of feared for the next game that we were gonna do the same thing, run into Igor, but I'm kind of glad we didn't. Which let's get into that. We did live stream that one as well, so we're 3-0 for live streams this year. Sakrum has added 2 more wins to his belt. Capitals are now 7-0 when he appears. The Capitals win 5-3 in this game, and this was a back and forth. But it felt like it's a back and forth, but really, in all reality, the Capitals dominated this game from start to finish. Ovechkin gets on the board, third goal of the season. Will Cooley on what was it, Alexiev mistake, or it was a defensive mistake, and Will Cooley cashed in, making it 1-1. Alex Ovechkin would make it 2-1. Then Connor McMichael, 3 minutes later, would make it 3-1, and then Kreider on the power play, which is lucky as all hell. So happens they go off his skate and go in. Not a kicking motion, so it's a goal. Oh shit, we only played the Rangers 3 times this year. So it's 3-2. Alexei Protas has a beautiful goal though to make it 4-2. Philip Shittal makes it 4-3, and then Nick Dowd with the empty netter 5-3. I call him Shittle because he's shit, because he can't stay healthy. The Capitals dominated this game. I know the score says otherwise, but the Capitals dominated this game from start to finish. The shot attempts alone, the shots say 46, but I guarantee the shot attempts are almost in the 80 range. So the Capitals, and there was multiple times in this game, even Gil pointed it out. Well, he didn't point it out in the live stream, but he pointed out in the chat that the Capitals pinned the Rangers, just how they pinned the Flyers. They pinned the Rangers in their zone for long periods of time, and it just felt like the Capitals should have won this game by 3 or 4 goals instead of 2. It was a statement win. I'm going to say that right now. It was a huge statement win for the Caps. Hopefully we kick their ass again when we play them again in January at home. I want to honestly, you know what? I want to play them in the playoffs, and I want to fucking sweep them. I want revenge from last year. I do. But anyways, let's get to our last 3 more games, and we have the next 2 games were basically blowouts, even though we made it a little bit too close. The Capitals' greatest goal scorer alive, pure goal scorer Tom Wilson, would score the first goal 3 minutes and 21 seconds into the first period. Cole Caulfield on the power play would tie it. Brendan Gallagher. Actually, no, this is second period. 3 minutes into the second period. It was scoreless in the first. Wilson, Caulfield, Gallagher, and then Duhane. And then for Jacob Rana! Jake the Snake, baby! Woo! Made it 3-2. And then Nick Suzuki, that fucker that always scores against us, makes it 3-3. Going into the third period, I felt confident. Gil, how did you feel going into the third period against Montreal?
Kind of like when in, what was it? Return of the Jedi, when Admiral Akbar realized it's a trap.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. It was no trap, all right? The Caps came out flying in that third period. They would 4 minutes in, they would get a goal, Connor McMichael. Then not even 30 seconds later, Alexei Protas makes it 5-3. And holy shit, he looks amazing on that top line. He is finally coming within his ability. Ovechkin would make it 6-3. Ovi has now scored, I think, about 6 goals in his last, I would say 7 to 8 games. He's on fire right now. Capitals win 6-3. This I think would extend their win streak to 4 games, which then they would extend it to 5 games because they extend it to 6. This next game we're going to talk about, and I fell asleep for this game. I'm going to be honest. I got home for work. This is an earlier game. I don't like the earlier games because 1, we tend to be a little slow in the past during matinee games. I don't blame them because at the time half the damn roster was over 30. Now half the damn roster is not even close to 30. The oldest guy in the roster is Ovechkin right now, and that says something. I think we only have like 4 or 5 players that are in their 30s on the roster, which 5 out of 23 on the roster is pretty good. Let's get into this. I fell asleep, and when I woke up, it was like 5-0. So I was like, "Holy shit, we're killing the Columbus Blue Jackets." Let's get into it. The Capitals don't even waste no time. Alexei Protas, 56 seconds into the game. It's 1-0. Not even a minute later, Connor McMichael makes it 2-0. And then Majapani, 7 minutes into the first period, makes it 3-0. Then Ovi makes it 4-0. Then Nick Dowd makes it 5-0. And then, we felt bad for Columbus. Let's give him a goal. Damian Sever.
5 goals on 7 shots.
Exactly, 5 goals on 7 shots. They felt bad. Damian Severson, you know what? Former Devil, he likes to score against us. Let's give him a goal. 49 seconds into the second period, makes it 5-1. Caps respond. Connor McMichael said, "Fuck you, we'll make it 6-1." And then Kevin LeBlanc, former San Jose Shark, makes it 6-2. And then Dylan Strome finds the back of the net late in the third period to make it 7-2. Caps destroy them, even though they get outshot 36-22. I honestly, once the Caps went up 5-0, I don't think they really cared. Columbus really had no answer anyways. They don't have they have a future star in Adam Fantilli, but he is not there yet. And it felt like this game from start to finish, the Capitals wanted to prove a point, and they did. Gil, Jared, where were you when you looked up to the screen and saw it was 5-0?
I really couldn't believe what was going on. I was eating dinner at the time, and I just kept hearing the goal horn over and over again. I was like, "What the shit?"
Gil was probably getting home from work, and his probably notifications were going off crazy.
Well, that was a Saturday game, so I was.
Oh, you're off. You're off. Never mind. You were Saturday game itself, but
yeah, no, I damn near sprained my ankle jumping off my couch.
Like I said, I fell asleep and I woke up to Ovi scoring, and that's when I woke up.
I was at the brewery and didn't even realize the game was on until I got a notification. And I looked up and they had it on in the brewery, and it was, I think, 6-0 at that point when I looked at it.
6-1. 6-1.
Or 6-1. No.
Yeah, Columbus scored and then we scored.
Yeah, that's right. No, it was like, but I'm looking at the thing and it was like, I'm sorry, no, it was still in the first period and it was 5-1, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, wait, they're still in the first period, it's 5-0?
Yeah. And then
time for another beer to celebrate that.
Let's talk about
That's why we like getting home
let's get into the next game. Yeah, we kind of figured this was going to happen. Jacob Vrana out, Sonny Milano back in the lineup. I will say he looked good. He looked okay. He wasn't amazing, but he looked okay enough that I'm not surprised. I did say eventually I would not be surprised if Vrana and Milano switch out, because Vrana's speed has been amazing, but he doesn't like Gil, you pointed out the other day, he doesn't back check. And that's his biggest problem, is he doesn't back check. But look at it this. Lapierre sat a couple games, and then when he came back, Lapierre looked amazing. He's looked amazing the last few games. He's been noticeable on that third line. I think he has 2 points in his last 4 games since coming back. So he's looked better. And I think the bench, I think right now the reason why we're doing it is because Nashville is a forecheck heavy team anyways. So I think when we play Pittsburgh, I will not be shocked if Jacob Vrana is back in the lineup, because the Pittsburgh Penguins are a little bit slower, being the oldest team in the NHL. And I think Vrana's speed will be used to slow them down. So I'm not shocked that Milano's back. I'm happy that War's back. I'm so glad he's back.
You still think Milano's on his way out?
Yes. When it comes down to that, the person that's going to get most likely cut is Milano, because he's not producing right now. He's back checking, yes, and he looked good against Carolina, but. And even Gil can agree with this. Out of all the players we have right now, I think Milano is the most likely one that's out, because we have other players in Hershey that can replace his production. And with Vrana,
Here's the thing about Milano. He's got 1 year left on his contract.
And that's another reason why. That's another reason why I think he's the odd man out, because Verana is on a kind of prove it deal, and we're paying him for chump change, whereas Milano, we're paying him that money for the contract, and he has another year left on his contract. So that's the biggest reason why I think Milano might be the odd man out, because we want to get rid of that contract and and who knows, Milano, if he produces towards the trade deadline, I still think we're going to make some assets, but he's going to be part of that trade. He's going to go to a team and get more minutes and play, whereas I just don't think there's minutes for him right now, including when we have players in Hershey that are ready to come up too. So it's not just Verana. Verana's only there because we need speed. Every time we put Verana in the lineup, that third line's fast. And that's what we need against teams that are slower, that don't forecheck as much, like Pittsburgh, like Philadelphia, like Montreal, like Columbus. But Carolina's a heavy forecheck team. And it was a back-to-back, and it was a chance to give Verana a rest. So Spencer did the right choice by putting him. Yes, we lost. We'll get into that in a minute. But it was, in my opinion, the right choice. But now that we got Roy back, and it's looking like Chychrun's going to come back probably against Pittsburgh. He might be back in the lineup against Pittsburgh because we just sent down Vincent Aurario. So now we have to make room for Chychrun. So we're going to be healthy on the blue line again. I do, like I said, I will not be shocked if unless Milano has an amazing game against Nashville, which I highly doubt he will. Unless he's gonna have to score a lot of points for me, because I think, and I'm not shitting on Milano. Like I said, he had a great game against Carolina. He made some couple back checks, and he's a back checker. That's what he's become. And like I said, Verana's not that, but Verana, in my opinion, is the better choice for Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh is not a forechecking team. They rely on their talent. They rely on their goal scorers like Sidney Crosby, which is probably why they're the third worst team in the division. And probably why they lost to the Islanders the other night. So, like I said, I will not be shocked if both switch in and out. It's all a chess game for Spencer. He's gonna want to move Milano in against heavy forechecking teams. He's gonna move Verana in for more speed, for more slower teams to use the speed. Which that's another thing for the Rangers. The Rangers, in my opinion, aren't a heavy forechecking team either. Which is probably why it's just gonna cost them come playoff time. That's why the Panthers beat them. The Panthers are a heavy forechecking team, and they rely on the forecheck. They rely on using their body to get to you. This is what we did in 2018 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. We dump the puck, we go in, hit the player, get the puck, score. That's how we won Game 7 and Game 6. So let's get into it. Anyways, the Carolina game. I hate this dude. I hate him so much. I know he's a former Capital, but I hate him so much. I just know how cocky he is now. Dmitry Orlov makes it 1-0 on a weird shot. It beats. Was it Tom? Who was in net? Charlie. Was it Charlie?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, it was.
Let me check.
Yep,
Charlie, because Thompson's in tonight and Charlie's coming in on Friday. Which I love this. I love this dynamic between Thompson and Charlie Lindgren. I don't like. Eventually, one of them is going to have to start multiple games, though. That's when we. But right now, letting them rotate is fine. But eventually, one's going to have to take the reign. We did this shit with Vanacek and Samsonov. We can't do this shit again.
Hold on. We did that shit with Vanacek and Samsonov because neither one of them was good enough to
I'll give you that.
Number one.
I'll give you that. But it's still going to...
That's why we did that.
It's still going to bite us in the ass, Gil. We have to. It's going to.
No, it's not.
It's going to.
Ride it until one of them proves that they can't handle the load. Then you go. That's when you switch.
Anyways,
or wait till the playoffs when it really matters.
Yeah, but stats are just not kind to teams with two goaltenders rotating come playoff time.
It's not hurting us yet.
It's not, and I'm not saying. I'm just saying eventually when it does come to bite us in the ass, we gotta punch it. All right. Anyways, Dmitry Orlov makes it 1-0. Alex Ovechkin on the power play scores his 7th goal. He's now scored 7 goals in 11 games, whereas last year it took him 30 games to score even 6. He's beating that fucking record. I'm gonna laugh in the face of that Rangers fan that I got into it on the subway home from the Yankees-Nationals game back in August because he told me Ovechkin is washed. How do you feel now, bitch?
I will say this. I was sitting at the other end of the
I wasn't even arguing with him. He was the one that was being loud.
and I heard the discussion.
She asked me if that was me, and I said no. I wasn't even being. For once, I wasn't loud.
I was at the other end of the car.
He's like, Ovechkin's washed. The Capitals aren't going to do shit for the next 5 to 6 years. Ooh, yada yada yada. And I said,
that's literally everyone in every Caps group on Facebook.
Well, to be fair, I still don't think the Caps are Stanley Cup contenders. I think we're playoff contenders, and this is a hell of a start for us. But anything could happen. Remember, the Canadiens started 6-0, and they ended up the worst team in the league. An early start is awesome, but to contain it, I want to see them contain it. Because eventually they're going to hit a slump, and we're going to start losing games. And I want to see how we respond to that. That will tell me what this team is about. Anyways, the Capitals would score with 11 seconds remaining into the first period. Brandon Duhaime, but sadly that would be the last goal the Capitals scored because fuck me, The Hurricanes would score to make it 2-2. Dmitry Orlov again makes it 3-2, and then Svechnikov, Ovi's favorite Russian, would score an empty netter to make it 4-2. This just felt like a throwaway game. The Capitals are tired. Carolina's coming on fresh rest. I want to see these two teams battle it out when they're both not coming off back-to-back games. I want to see them play each other at full strength, full energy. So that's the recap. The last few games since our last recording. Our next episode we will go over the recap of October, but right now let's get into the prospects. Let's talk about the prospects a little, and then we'll end the episode here, and then we'll jump in right into episode 5. All right. What do you got? Who do you want to start with? Do you want to start the juniors skilled, or you want to start with the college players?
Let me interrupt for 1 second.
Get through the juniors, I guess.
Juniors?
On that note, gentlemen, I need to step away because I've got dinner in the oven. So.
That's fine. Let it cook more.
You better not.
I don't want to burn it.
No, that was her clock. That was her clock.
Oh, okay.
That was not my clock.
I thought it was your clock.
That was my clock.
Oh.
I told you I disconnected the clock.
Oh.
We have a grandfather clock.
All right.
Gentlemen, I will catch you next week or the next time we record because I have to leave shortly after dinner.
All right, let's get into it. Andrew Cristal is just dominating the WHL. He is on pace for 170 points. He has 20 points already in 7 games. It's ridiculous. He was a big part of their comeback last night against who the hell did they play? Spokane. They played Spokane, and he was a big part of that. So yeah, he's looking good. But we knew he was gonna look good. I mean, he's one of our top prospects. He looked amazing in preseason. I'm not shocked that we didn't give him a contract, but he almost won himself a contract. Honest, like a roster spot, not contract, a roster spot. He almost nearly damn won him a roster spot. But we'll see him next year, and I think he'll definitely be in Hershey this playoffs. I think he'll get some ice time in Hershey, and he'll definitely have some time in Hershey next year, more likely with one of the other prospects that we're going to talk about. But let's get into the next one, who we probably won't see for another couple years. He's looked good, too. Parasek. Parasek has 11 points in his last 5 games, 19 in his last 10. He's on pace for 105 goals. He's got 23 points in 14 games. He's got 10 goals in 13 games. He's starting to look like a goal scorer. So that's very exciting. Because when we first drafted him, me and you, Gil, we didn't know if he was going to be a playmaker or a pure sniper, and it looks like he's both. So far this season, he's looked good. Looking at these stats so far, Gil and Jared, how do you feel about Cristal and Parasek?
I think they're getting better.
Cristal will probably be. Worst come to worst, he'll definitely be in training camp. I don't know. This sounds funny saying this, but I don't know that he'll earn a roster spot. That they'll give him one.
Remember,
you might have to spend a couple.
Remember,
years in Hershey
remember, he will be eligible for Hershey next year. He'll be 20.
Right. So he might have to spend a year in Hershey because as strange as it sounds, there are other prospects ahead of him still.
Are they?
And they need to be looked at.
Are we getting? Are they the 3 we're about to get into?
Possibly.
All right, let's get into it. We're gonna do college. Do you want to start with the big one, or you want to save them for last?
Save it for last.
All right, let's get into the goaltending. Okay, Nicholas Kemp. Like I said, it's his rookie season. He didn't start the back-to-back this week, which I'm not surprised. He's probably not going to get much ice time going forward. He's looked good though. I mean, yeah, he gave up. I think it was 4 goals. 4 goals the other night, but he faced like 41 shots. So like he made 37 saves out of 41 shots. And he stood on his head. He tried to give Notre Dame a chance, but they only recorded 20 shots. You're not going to win a game by leaving your goaltender out for like that. Like giving up for like both games a combined 80 shots for both goalies faced. I think it was about 80 shots. Because in the first game they faced 39 shots. So it's ridiculous. So, but they did win that game, and I'll give them that. But they scored. They took their chances in Notre Dame. So he's only got 3 games this season. He's got a 2.39 GAA, which really at this point, that stat no one gives a shit about. They don't really need to give a shit about. The one you have to really look at is the save percentage. And his save percentage is amazing. It's .927. Well above average. In 3 games, he's only given up a total. If you look at the GAA, I know it's a shitty stat, but it's technically, which is why it's a shitty stat, because it doesn't go off the amount of games that he gets scored on. But if you look at this, he's only given up 2 goals a game, which in the average NHL goaltender gives up at least nowadays with all the goal scoring 3 goals a game at average. So that's good. We'll continue to monitor him. We're probably not going to see much of him going forward because of he's a freshman and the other goalie's going to get more time. But let's get into our next one. This is the big one of the big 2s. We call them the Ryan twins for a reason. Ryan Chesley has seemed to have found his offensive game, which doesn't bode well for one of our other prospects that we just called up. Because if he finds his offensive game, that just speaks of doom for one Vincent Arario. Because Vincent Arario literally we drafted him for his offensive style. So right now, Chesley has 7 points in 8 games. It took him 39 games last year to even get 8 points. It took him 36 games to get 10 points his freshman year. So now he's starting to find the back of the net. Yes, he did not score in these 2 games against Penn State, but Penn State has a really good defensive style of play. They play like a really heavy trap game. So I'm not shocked that he didn't get a goal or a point. But he was on the ice for a few goals. So his plus minus is 12, which is very good. Because his first season was 15, but he was only a freshman, so he only played a minimum of time. He's playing top pair minutes now, as he's one of the 3 captains on the team. His sophomore year, he only had a plus minus of 2, which tells you he was on the ice for most of the goals scored. Well, this time it's shown that he's on the ice for most of the goals scored for and not against. He's improving, and like you said, Gil, I think it was our first episode, he's 100% our best defensive prospect, and there's no one close to him right now, the way he's playing. And I'm predicting right now, I give him 1 season in Hershey, and he's already up. Now, he won't play top line minutes yet, or top pair minutes until Carlson's gone, but I think they're going to get him up, because I don't see more of a clearer path for him. It's Carlson's on the end of his road. Roy is obviously being signed to take over the first pairing until Chesley is ready. There is a glaring hole at the bottom 6 pair, which Chesley could easily take over TVR. I feel more comfortable with Chesley out there than TVR some nights, to be honest, even though he's looked good this season, but we don't know how he's going to look next season, which more than likely Chesley will be in the Hershey Bears organization. I don't see him going back his senior year. The way he's playing right now proves to me he is done and he is ready to move on. Do you still feel the same way, Gil? Do you still feel like he is our best defensive prospect?
Right now, yes. I don't see anybody else. The one thing that's against him is the log. Roy is here to stay.
Yes.
He's going to be the cornerstone. Farivari. What opened the door is, like you said, the bottom 6. They look kind of shaky right now. I don't know. I don't think TVR is going to be in the long-term plans. And Sandin might not be in the long-term plans.
Well, we signed him. We signed him to a big contract, though. I think he's here to stay.
I don't know. That it's not looking too good right now.
The good thing about Chesley, though, is he's a right-sided defenseman. And right now, like I said, the left side is the logjam because we have Alexiev, we have Sandin, we have Chikrin, we have who's the other one? We have another one that's Ethan Bear, I think it is. Ethan Bear and Hershey could play left side. So that's more of the logjam. The right side is where we need players on the right side because right now, if you look at it, yeah, Makarov can play, but he's not a top pair guy. If Carlson goes down, it's basically Roy, and that's it. We're kind of fucked on the right side, which is a good news. Is why Chesley is almost ready. Hey Cheryl, I thought you were leaving.
I'm just turning off the camera.
Oh, he is on his way, and I think he's gonna spend at least a season and maybe a half in Hershey. But I just think by the time he comes over here, it all depends on what Carlson's gonna do. Because Carlson, his contract ends up next year, and he might sign a 1-year deal, but I think he's closer to the end of his road. I think he's going to want to get locked up like a couple years. But even then, Chesley's still going to be 24 by the time the end of that new contract ends. He's going to be ready by then, which is perfect. That's perfect. That's all we need. We need to give this kid time. This kid is proving it this season that he's ready to take the next step. And he's ready to be our top pairing. This kid is amazing. He is a shutdown defenseman that can put the puck in the net. You rarely ever see a player like that be able to do that. Nowadays, you either have an offensive defenseman or a stay-at-home defenseman. The two-way defenders of the past, in my opinion, are starting to come back, and Ryan Chesley's one of them. The logjam, I agree with. On the blue line, there was a logjam, but it's more on the left side, Gil, than it is on the right side, because we have a lot of left-handed defensemen. We don't have many right-handed. Like, there's Chesley, there's Cole Hudson, and there's Vincent Orario. That's really all we have as prospects on the right-handed shooters. Because, like I said, we're logjammed on the left side. I don't even think TVR is a right-handed shooter. Isn't he a left-handed? Because I could have sworn he can play on the left side as well. Because when he first brought him over, he was playing on the left side.
TVR is a right-handed.
Oh, he's a right-handed. Okay, all right. I could have sworn maybe it was someone else, but like I said though, the left side is such a logjam. But the good news is he is a right-sided defenseman, and that's what we need right now. And by the time he comes over here, we're probably gonna see like I said, TVR is gonna be gone. Alexiev's gonna be gone. I just don't see Alexiev coming back. Arario might see some ice time next year. But like I said, out of all the prospect defensemen we have, because Alexiev's no longer a prospect, he's now officially an NHLer. Arario feels like the odd man out because he can't score. His offensive side is just he's struggled. He's struggled in Hershey. He's developed a defensive side in Hershey. I'll give him that. But when it comes to him and Chesley, I'm taking Chesley 9 out of 10 times. The one time is when Chesley gets hurt, and then we have to call up Arario. There's another prospect that you don't like, but I think we don't really need to rely on him being defensive, because if we can get him to quarterback the second power play and take over the duties from Ferivari, because Ferivari fucking sucks on the power play. I'm sorry. Sandine and him suck on the power play. It's Cole Hudson. And Cole Hudson, he's got 5 points in 7 games. He's a -4, but he's a freshman, so he's on the ice. And like Boston University, half the time it's not his fault. Half the time Boston University's coughing the puck up and it's a 2-on-1. So what the hell is he supposed to do? Like it's like half the goals that he's on the ice for have been odd man rushes. So it's not really his fault. And I could say this because personally, Boston University is the only team I've been able to watch personally on TV. The other ones I've been able to check on stats and stuff, and on Twitter to see the goals and stuff. He looks good, and there's times where he does cough up the puck, but he's a freshman. He's learning, and he'll get there. He is, in my opinion, our second best prospect, defensive prospect, because I just don't trust Arario right now. Arario he's been with the team for a little bit. I think 3 seasons now he's been with the team, and I just haven't seen any progress. Outside of maybe the first call-up, 2 years ago when we drafted Ryan Leonard. He looked good in that game against San Jose. I'll give him that. But anyways, let's get into the big boy. The big boy. The one we all come in love. The one half of the Ryan twins. Ryan Leonard, I'm going to say it right now. He does not look good. He doesn't look good. But the question is, how much of it is that he's bored? Or how much of it is he's just thinking it's the beginning of the season and he's not going to take it serious? But even then, he still has 5 points in 6 games. He's a +4. He scored 2 clutch goals the other night. One of them, he stole the puck and scored. So he's still there. And I feel like, yes, some of the reason why he's not scoring as many points this season is because of Will Smith and Carter Gutierrez are no longer there. But he still has the number 1 overall pick. He's still on the line with the number 1 overall pick, James Hagan. So I'm not too worried right now. It's only 6 games into the NCAA. They've only played 6 games where every other team has played more. So we'll continue to monitor Ryan Leonard. I think by the end, come the Frozen Four, he's gonna have 30 points. He's gonna explode. He's gonna get more comfortable. He's gonna start scoring. Another reason why is they're not giving him enough minutes either. Him and the head coach are going at it right now, and so he's getting moved from line. He's not on the top line. And when he's on the top line, he's barely getting any minutes, which is bullshit. So there's a little bit favoritism going on in Boston College right now. But looking at right now, 6 games, 5 points. That's still amazing. It's still good. He's still on track to be potentially a superstar for the Capitals. But that's the prospects that we want to talk about right now. The other ones I don't really care about. But anyways, yeah, that's this week's this episode for episode 4, guys. You got anything else to add on before we end this episode and move on to episode 5?
Nope.
All right, let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Let's go, Caps!
Go Caps!